Hello there, my name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee, and today we are going to make a pincushion. I know, it sounds really boring. We're going to make one that mounts there, and he's going to have a little African style hat to sit on his head, and he's going to have big ears, and he's going to have a trumpet that comes up. Yeah? Okay, that looks nothing like anything. Anyway, I'm going to go for big floppy ears. Not too hard, is it? And then I'm going to go for the side of his face with the trumpet coming up. I know, you can see how easy this is when somebody does it sort of step by step. So I'm going to need 2 of those. And I'm going to need a head bit. Now this is going to come down the front of his skull, so I'm going to need 1 of those, and I'm going to need 4 of the ears. I know, how easy is that? And I'm going to place that triangle along here. For the hat, I'm going to have it flat against the bottom, and then it's going to be a circle, and then I'm just literally going to have a rectangle sewn round. I've decided to use green felt for the hat because I'm using grey felt for the pincushion, but I do have some African fabric, so if it changes halfway through, I'm not trying to trick you or anything, it's just me really. It's all a bit ad hoc with me, but yeah, we'll give it a go anyway. So these are to scale, so I do need to leave a bit of hem allowance around them. Now, I know, oh, I've got some eyes as well. Do you know, I found these in the tapestry box. What am I like, honestly? I thought I'd got rid of everything when I gave up sewing before, but there is another bag of eyes. So we're going to use these googly eyes on him as well. And I'm going to attach it to the sewing machine with the use of a ribbon. Now, some of these sewing machines are better for this than others. And if I just grab this one, it's quite easy just to do a little pincushion there. So when you're sewing, you can put your pins in there, and it's a lot more of a comfortable position. Although the makeup of that machine, obviously, with my big button, or even a computer panel on some of them, it won't quite work. But I'm still going to do it. I'm just going to do it so it mounts here. Okay, I've got my cutting out to do, and then I'll be right back. Lovely, so I've got my bits cut out, and I've also got a bit to go on the back as well, which I just forgot to mention. It happens with me, I'm afraid. So, luckily I didn't forget anything like the ears or something. That would have been terrible. Okay, I'm going to start off with sewing the bits together. Now, I find with felt you can either do it 1 or 2 ways. You can, sorry, I set up this machine to do something else, and then I thought, no, I'll just do this, which happens. You can either sew it now and then trim it again, or you can cut the pieces out and sew them. And there's a lot to be said for sewing it afterwards. Now, nothing's going to be turned inside out, and it's all going to have its seams open, and I think I might actually trim it again. We'll just have to see. Okay, and the next piece to be sewn is pretty much from there round to there, so that we've got this in. Now it's up to you whether you sew the brow of the head in first, or you sew the two pieces together. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to sew the brow of the head in first. And I think what I might do as well is I might put a little bit of stuffing in those ears, just to give them a bit more definition. And of course you could even sew the cartilage so that you've got a little pattern bit there. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to make sure that I'm sewing the right bit, and then I'm just going to run that along there. Now I've sewn right onto the elephant's head proper, as it were, and I'm just adjusting this bit, and then I can sew round. So, because I'm sewing quite close to the edge, not a lot of foot is actually catching the teeth on the machine. So, you know, you can use an embroidery foot, or you can just take your time and sort of push it all around. I think I need to actually get the teeth a bit higher in this machine. Every now and again you just have to higher your teeth up. It's fine. So I'm just coming around the bottom of the trunk now. And coming up to the front of the head. So this is under his mouth. And of course we can go back and give him a little smile as well, which I think we will do. There we go. Just a couple of stitches just to add that little finishing touch to him. And you see what I mean, you can trim round now if you've pushed it slightly. It's all good. So the next step to do is stuff and insert the eyes. So I have the eyes here, and do you know, it's reminding me a lot more of a rhino. Isn't that terrible? You would think I would do a practice though, but I don't. I just make it up as I go along. So I'm just putting in one eye, and then I'm going to adjust it so that the eyes are level. Now, yeah, these are safety eyes, so there's not a sharp point, and I'm just sort of pushing it through. And it's always difficult to know how big a hole to cut. It can be, yeah, I suppose if they're up like that, then he looks quite aggressive. So I want them downwards. There we go, I've just pushed that on there. So when one's in, then I'm going to adjust it to put the other one in. And a little bit wonky is okay, a lot wonky is terrible. Yes, a little bit wonky is character. So, and then we just squeeze that on the end. So that's grand. Now what I need to do is I need to put a little bit of stuffing. Now if you weren't making him out of felt, then we'd have to make the pattern slightly bigger so that we could turn him inside out. I just thought there's no way I'm going to be able to get that trunk inside out. So I thought, what grey fabric have I got? And it turns out the only grey fabric I have is felt. I know. So he needs a good stuff, he really does. There we are. That's probably enough. Now it's entirely up to you whether you sew the ears on now with a couple of stitches or whether you do it all in one go. I'm going to opt for a couple of stitches now. I know. Now I've sewed them right on the edge, so they should be well hidden when I sew the back on. And now that I've got his ears on, of course he looks a lot more like an elephant and a lot less than a rhino. So I know it's all preference. Now the other thing I have to say is that pincushions need to be quite well stuffed to work properly. They really do. So there we go, that's what he's going to look like. I know. They really do, so it's entirely up to you. So, I know, now, very carefully, there's not much for you to see really, because my hands are going to literally be in the way all the way around this. And what I've got here is I've got a square of fabric, and I am literally using the body as a guide. I know, completely cheating, I really am, but that's the whole idea, you know, it's how would I do this, and this is how I would do this. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I've got both bits of the ear and the main body of the head. So just squeezing that all around there. I know, fighting the machine every step of the way. This is probably why I have an older machine, is because I don't think a new machine would really take this abuse. I'm sure they would. It's just a Fiona thing. So I'm now coming under the head, and I have to make sure I've got my ear in again. My other ear now. So we are getting round. I'm just going to tuck it under the foot and then continue to sew. So what we're left with is kind of, it reminds me of the African to pull this little hat round. I know it is tricky, and I haven't given myself much to work with. When I drew the pattern just now, I was well aware that there wouldn't be a lot of room between his ears, and this little tray is going to be for things that I'll need throughout the sew. Sometimes I have to change the foot, and it's always, I put it on the side and then I knock it on the floor, and it's always a bit tragic and everything else like that. So I've done the arch. What I'm going to do is take it out, just line it up like that to measure it, and then I'm going to come down the side here and then round the back. This is just to give him some extra support, and it doesn't need to be much. It literally is. This is for a couple of eyes maybe, or usually the other foot. So again, as I haven't put much room under the teeth, I am just going to assist it by giving it a good hearty tug. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just laying it flat, turning it on its side so that I can just do this back seam. Again, there's not a lot of cloth under the teeth of the machine, so there we are. So there's my little tray, and I've got a flat bit there, and because I didn't cut it very well at all, I can just trim that now, and then that'll look a lot better. So that's going on his head, upside down of course. I've got enough there just to push that down even further so that I can use that as a place to sew, and then that'll keep it nice and perky. Yes, we have a perky elephant. Okay, so one line of stitches. And there we are. We have our little elephant. Okay, he does need his loose ends trimmed, but now I have no idea how you would want to attach this tiny piece of ribbon. I'm going to go with, I don't want to do any more stitches because I think each time you do a stitch it looks scruffy, so I'm just going to do a little bit of invisible sewing and just put that on there, and then I can have that down probably if I do the sewing at the top. I could have done it at the same time as I did that, couldn't I? Oh well, every sewing machine's different, so you're going to have to judge where you can place it and where you can tie it round. So, and I think the motor on this one's quite a thick one, so it's obviously left me with a bit of a pickle really. Now, how to attach it? Yeah, machine's come unthreaded, so we're going to ignore it. I suggest a bow because there's a good chance that one of my adoring friends or family members will go, but I want him for my machine, and I'm only going to keep him for a weekend. But yes, so I've gone for a bow around the back, but Velcro, buttons, anything you like really. Okay, so that's my storage elephant for my little bits that I need throughout my sew. I've got a little foot, and I can put that on the head, on his head, in his hat, and I can go, yes, now we just need to change this foot for something else. Anyway, I've hoped you liked the vid. My name's Fiona. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.